Hi there. Today we're going to talk about how to quickly and easily get up and running to take online donations. Whether you're working with a not-for-profit or a charity or just doing some fundraising for a local community or school, we have a lot of people who reach out to us at Payable and say, hey, how could I get up and running with something relatively quickly without a ton of upfront costs? I don't want to end up paying $50 a month if I don't even know how much I'm going to make. But I need to do fundraising. I've been tasked with this as part of my community, and I feel overwhelmed by all of the different options out there. So we're going to show you a pretty quick and very easy way to make a professional fundraising page and to collect money and to stay organized and have everyone be impressed with you. So let's get started. We'll walk you through all the steps here and we'll do it today, kind of collaborate together on a sample. So one of the first tools that we're going to use if you've never used it before is Google Forms. And so if you go to forms.google.com, you will find Google's free form builder. Now, this is a tool that they offer and it builds forms where you could send them out to collect information. And you can see here at the top, there's a template gallery of some various different things that they might have done, like an RSVP or a party invite or a t-shirt sign up. And so what we're going to use is Google Forms as the form to collect donor information and donations as the base piece. And then after that, we're going to connect a payment provider and we'll put the two together and we'll make a powerful online donation form. All right, so let's get started with this. So you can start with a template or you could start from scratch. If you don't have a Google account, you can just sign up for one. They're quick and easy and they're free, and you should grab yourself a Google account and then you'll be able to create Google Forms. So let's start with a very basic one. So I'm going to hit blank. And I am going to name this form. I was doing some looking before, but I'm going to do one on animals because I like animals. So we're going to call this one Pause for Good event. And we're going to try to, this form is going to be used as a sample to collect money for a good cause. Okay, and you can fill this out. You can hit enter and type some information here in this description that as you see fit. Google Forms are really flexible. So what you do is you hit the plus and you can add more and more questions. And so these are questions you would want to ask your donor, right? So maybe something like, what is your donor name? And it's pretty smart at figuring out, okay, that's probably going to be a short answer. Another question you might want to ask is something like, how did you find out about us? Things like that. Anything you would want to ask, you can put in your form. The form also lets you put in content chunks. Sorry, let me delete that one. So that would be not a question, but you could put in an image or a video or even split your form into sections. So Google is very powerful. Google Forms, you can do a bunch of really cool stuff with it. The other thing is up here at the top, there's this little, I guess, art board. And if you click on that, you can customize your theme. And so I downloaded this sample image. They come with some stock, kind of images that you could choose if you wanted to, but you can also upload your own. So if somebody has created you a banner or a logo, and on my desktop, I actually thought I downloaded this one here from another charity that I saw, and I thought this looked kind of cool. So we could just use that and hit done. And Google's pretty smart and they will try to match the colors that look like they are in your image. So they will look at the colors in the image and they'll do a good job. And they can kind of let you customize it a little bit with those. And you can save your theme like that. So now we got a Pause for Good event. A lot of the time charities say, okay, what we found is offering different packages is usually the best way to get the most amount of money out of your donors. So instead of saying put in the dollar amount, oftentimes it's been proven that by creating little packages that you will have people kind of upsell into a package. So we're going to do select a donation package. And this could be optional if they wanted to do another amount, but you can sometimes help guide people with this and go, the deluxe donation, and it comes with a free dinner at the gala, something fancy that they might get. And this is going to be $300. I just add a dash and then 300. And then a basic donation, and this comes with a free t-shirt, and these are going to be $100. And the last one is, let's just say friends of Paws, and you aren't going to get anything, but you're going to get a donation of $20. Perfect. So you can let people do things like that. If we wanted to add a customer specified amount, let them add on additional donation amount, we're going to switch this to short answer, okay? And we're going to say add an additional donation, amount. And we're going to fix our typos here. Amount, additional, perfect. And what you can do in Google Forms is, what we don't want is people typing in anything. Short answer is right. And so I'm going to do in the title a dash and a $sign, and that lets the add-on we're going to use in a second know that this is a money amount. But what you can do is click this little 3 dots down here and response validation. So what this does is this says, hey, when somebody fills out my form, I only want them to put specific things in here. I don't want them to type in, the word hamburger. I want a number. And so this is a good, so we're going to say number, and we're going to say greater than. And so generally we're going to say we're going to want it to be greater than $1. And you can even do between. So let's do 1 and under 10,000. So generally, when we do online payments, 10,000 is about the max that most processors will let you do on a credit card. So what we're going to do is limit it to 1 and 10,000 and just do the custom text. It says donation amount needs to be between $1 and $1,000. Or sorry, $10,000. Okay, perfect. So that is how you set up little validation rules to make sure somebody puts in the right type of data. And so these can be optional, and we can do a donor name. And the other thing we could add is, let's add one more question here. And they can say, do you require a tax receipt? Question mark. And we can say, and what they do a good job of seeing here, it's suggesting options for us. Yes, no, maybe. And so we can say, okay, yeah, put in yes, put in no, and that'll do those two for us. And we can make this one required so that they have to kind of pick it. Okay, so generally what we've done now is we have set up a nice fundraising form. And if you wanted to see what it looks like, you can click this little eyeball at any point in time, and that will preview it. And so this is how your donors will see it, which is really kind of cool. So that's how they would get up and running, and that's what they would see it look like. Okay, and when you go to send it, you would use the send button, and then you would click link, and then you would get the link, or you could shorten it. And so you don't need a website, you don't need a hosting package. All you have to do is say, hey, here is the link to our fundraising event and to our donation form. So next thing we want to do is add payments to it. So what we're going to do is take the Google form, and then we're going to add payments. So what you're going to want to do is go to the Google Workspace Marketplace. And so just, type that in to Google and look for the Google Workspace Marketplace. And then you're going to search for Payable Forms. And this is an add-on that extends the capability of Google Forms to allow it to kind of seamlessly accept payment. And so it's a really cool way to extend and automate, all those money amounts that we put in our form, and let somebody pay for it right after they submit the form. So it's a really easy to use add-on, and I'm going to show you how it all works. So you would click install. Mine says uninstall because I've already installed it, but yours would stay install. So click install, agree to the conditions, and then go back to your Google form. Hit refresh on your Google form. And you can do that every now and then just to make sure that things are syncing well. And you will see this little puzzle piece and on the desktop anyways, and this is your add-ons. You're going to click on that, and then you're going to click on Payable Forms. That's an add-on that we just installed. And you're going to say, make this form payable. Okay. And so this will run and it'll sync some information, and a little dialog should open here on the side you see here. And this is the Payable Forms add-on. There's 3 steps to make this form, this Google form, payable. So we're going to click the first one, which is Auto Configure Form and Sheet. And what this is going to do is this is going to make email address required for your submitters. It's going to set a confirmation link on the confirmation message, and it's going to set the destination. So every time somebody fills this out, the data is going to go into a Google Sheet, which is a Google spreadsheet. And it's going to be really helpful for you to stay organized and know who's paid and how many donations you've collected. So let's close that. The next thing we're going to do is click Sync Theme, and what that does is it takes my header image and my colors and it sends it to Payable so that they could host a checkout that looks just like your Google form. So that's done. And the third thing you have to do is connect a payment provider. And so when it comes to payment providers, there's quite a few options out there, and around the world, depending on where you are, there's different ones available in different regions. PayPal does a pretty good job with most charities. If you're a registered charity, they even have a special charity rate to get a little bit of a discounted price. No matter what payment provider you connect, you are going to have to pay a payment processing fee. So these are, yes, they're donations, and everybody wants to make as much money go, directly to the cause. But like death and taxes, credit card fees are going to be around forever. And with the convenience that they provide, oftentimes it's just well worth it, because we have to remember our donors are busy people. They don't have a ton of time. They're not going to write a check or drop off cash. And so if they can click a button and like Apple Pay you money or use the PayPal button or put in their credit card, they will. The faster and the easier you can make it for your donors, the more money you're going to collect and the more good you're going to do. So, um, you know, feel free to check out Stripe, PayPal, as well as Square are all very good options. In this demo, I'm going to show you the PayPal flow and the PayPal connection process. It's pretty common amongst, commonly used amongst charities, not-for-profits, and even casual groups who are doing organizations. So I'm going to show you the PayPal flow. So I'm going to click on PayPal Standard. This is going to open our connection window, and it's going to do a login with PayPal to let you connect your PayPal account to the Payable Forms add-on. What you're going to make sure is on this window that you put in the email address that is to your existing account, if you have an existing PayPal account, or you sign up and it'll create you a brand new PayPal account. But the first thing to do on this is use an existing PayPal account if that's what you're trying to do. So I'm going to actually connect a personal PayPal account, and double_line.com, and it's from Canada. Yep. And it'll bring you to this page, which is the login page. Once it realizes, oh, there's already a PayPal account there, it's going to bring you to this one, and then you'll do your login. If you don't have one, that's no problem. You can sign up for one. And it's going to ask me how I want to use my account. So primarily, this is me as a personal account, so I'm going to leave it as personal. If you actually are a charity or a group or an organization, feel free to change it if necessary, or if you need to. You'll click on this Go Back to Payable link. And you should see a page like this. This really just kind of shows that we've got permission to use your PayPal account to set up transactions for you, and all the data we got back. Mine's Canadian, so I have my default is there. Okay. When you come back, you should see it connected like this. And that means you now have a payment provider connected to your Payable Forms add-on, and we can try to collect payment for you. And that is as easy as that login flow. So you can close the little getting started section if you want, because we're all done those steps, and we're going to toggle on make this form payable. And so what we're doing at this point is we're registering with Google triggers. And so we're telling Google, hey, each time somebody submits my Google form, could you send that data to Payable? And they're going to look for money amounts in any of the answers that people have chosen or specified. And then they're going to set up a checkout page for my user or my customer. And that is what we do with this add-on, which makes things really easy. So after that, you can see we give you a test mode, and right now it's on. Test mode is on. You turn it off when you're ready to go live, but always practice and make sure everything is working as you would want it to, and it looks good before you turn it on. One thing I would recommend if you're doing fundraising and donations is that you go into the, let's call it the checkout settings. And this payment type category, what we're going to do is switch this to donation. And so what this does is it changes some of the labels on the checkout to say like donate, donor, or donate as opposed to buy. And so this will just change a little bit of the language there. One of the other things is we did talk about those credit card fees. And so, yes, you're still going to have to pay PayPal or Stripe or Square some credit card fees. And one of the things that some of our donors like to do is add a little bit of a handling fee, maybe to help you cover those fees. You could pass them on to the user if you wished. So, what we'll do is maybe let's drag this up to maybe about 4%. So, I will type in 4 there. And so this will add a convenience fee, an electronic convenience fee to my checkout page, which we'll take a look at in a second. Custom text on the checkout could be added, and so these are things if you have a registered charity ID. So I'll show you what that looks like. We'll do registered charity, um, charity ABC123, and I'll show you where that shows up on the checkout in a second. And then post-payment message. So after somebody has done payment, and only after they've done payment, you could give them a link to something. Say you wanted to let them download, a PDF or anything like that. You could put some information there. We also allow you to customize some of the notifications. Those are the emails that get sent out before and after and other things like that, but we're going to leave those as is for now. Okay, so let's go through this as if we were one of your donors, your potential donors, and let's see what it looks like. So let's hit the send button again. Let's go to here. We'll grab a short URL, and this is the URL that you would be able to send off to your friends or your families or your potential donors to say, hey, check out what I've made. How does this look for our donation event? And so we're going to practice it as if we were a potential donor. So I'm going to type in my name here. I'm going to say Kyle Jack. And I found out at the high school. And I am going to go for the basic donation. But I'm also going to add in a little bit of extra, maybe an extra $50. And so we'll see here that, remember, we added that validation. So if I try to type hamburger, and I leave, it's going to say, no, a donation amount needs to be between $1 and $1,000. So that is that form validation that we set up. So we don't want people typing hamburger, and that worked. So I'd have to be between 1. I can't do 50 cents. No, it's going to say, no, it has to be between 1. So let's make a $10 extra donation. And I'm going to say, no, I don't require an additional tax receipt. Okay, looks like a pretty easy and nice donation form. So I'm going to hit submit. What this does is it brings you to the Google confirmation page. So this is Google's confirmation page. They say, thanks, use the link below to continue. And so this link is added by Payable Forms, the add-on, and it's going to transition your user right to this checkout page. So now I'm in test mode. You can see we're still in test mode for practice. And I have my basic donation with the free t-shirt, and I have an additional donation amount of $10. Here's that convenience fee we talked about. And so we added that in the add-on. And so that's getting kind of added on to the total to kind of help you cover your processing fees. If you wanted to do this, it's purely optional. You could turn it back off if you don't want to add it, but you can add that there. You can see the label here, we have donor details, and that's because we selected that this was going to be a donation. And so there's me and my email address. And then I have a PayPal card checkout and a PayPal donate button. So depending on your region and what kind of PayPal account you have, you'll see a different kind of combination of buttons here. But in general, your customers will have buttons available to let them pay. No matter what button somebody uses, whether they enter their card directly or choose a PayPal button for the PayPal connected payment provider setup, the money is going to go right into your PayPal account. So as soon as somebody pays, it's going to go right there into your PayPal account. So for testing, we give you some card numbers here. These are test card numbers and test PayPal accounts. So if you want to try one or the other to go right through, you definitely can. So let's do the Visa number. We'll just paste that in there. And 0224, CVV is 366, 90210, and pay with Visa. So the way this works is it's pretty friendly. It reaches right off to the payment provider, to PayPal. No card data is ever stored by our server or touches Google. It is all super secure. It's encrypted right in the browser, and it's using PayPal's latest JavaScript SDKs. With all of our payment providers, we are doing client-side encryption, so you never need to worry about leaking or losing or touching any of your customers' card data, because that is literally impossible. They would then get this receipt with their details. They would see the total amount paid, and you're done. And so just like that, you have created a online donation registration form. Super cool. And one of the things I want to show you next is how it makes your life easy and how you stay organized. So let's go back here to your Google form. And now we're in edit mode again. This is only what you or the administrators would see. And you can look at your responses here. And Google does a pretty good job of kind of showing you basic data about, aggregated data about like what people have chosen. And one of the things you're going to do is you can click here. So this is sorry, mine says right now, see how it says create spreadsheet? It's because I have to refresh the page. Sometimes you have to refresh the page before the add-on will realize, or Google will realize. So you can see here, view responses in sheet. And so what that is doing is when I click on this, it's going to show me a Google Sheet for my Google form. And so you can see this sheet is called Pause for Good Event Responses. And every time somebody submits my form, it's going to make a row in this spreadsheet. So super easy to get up and running and go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just make another submission really quick. Let's call Jane Doe, and she saw us on TV, and she's going to do Friends of Pause, but then donate 10 extra dollars and does not need a tax receipt. And so what you'll see is right away, there's that new submission. There's a new payable order ID, and we can see that we've emailed them, but they haven't done anything yet. They haven't paid. Unlike the first order we did, it's already been paid. So if we view this page, so as this user goes over, how cool this is. So you're going to see almost in real time. See how it says checkout started? So that customer went to the page. They've looked at the checkout page, but they haven't yet completed it. So really cool way of kind of keeping track. You could always follow up with people who didn't end up paying. Maybe they started, but they had trouble, or they forgot, or they wanted to pay with cash or something else. But generally, the spreadsheet is helping you fully keep track of who's paid and who hasn't paid, who wants a tax receipt, who doesn't want a tax receipt. Really quite easy here. The other thing you're going to see is the PayPal transaction ID. So this, how did that last person pay? It was us. We paid with PayPal, and we used a Visa card. And these were test modes. So you see we have test. That just kind of reminds you that this wasn't real. These were test transactions. And that there is your PayPal transaction ID. So super easy to get up and running. Maybe took us 10 minutes to get set up. And I want to show you one more thing that is really quite cool about what we've built. With charities, a lot of the time what you really want to try to do is get a recurring donation. A recurring donation is the most invaluable for any charity. And by invaluable, I mean super valuable. Because once you've got somebody's attention, if you can get them to give weekly or give monthly, that really is the icing on the cake, if you can. So let's go back to our form, and we could support monthly giving in a matter of seconds. And this is what's really cool about what we've built here. So let's go down here. Let's add another option. So I'm going to add a new option. And this option is going to be called let's call it like diamond animal. Let's call it the diamond package. And what this one is we really want somebody to give, let's say $25, and I'm going to add /week. Every week I want this person to give $25, and I'm just going to drag it up. I'm going to put it at the top, and so you can use these little handles to put the diamond package. So these ones are one-time payments, and they will only happen once. But if somebody chooses the diamond package that we just created, it's going to charge them $25 every week. And so let's take a look at that. So I'm going to hit the preview button, the eyeball. I'm going to go back, and you can see our new diamond package, and let's give it a quick try. So let's call Joe Smith, and he is rich. So he was at golf, and he was golfing when he found out about us. He is going to get the diamond package, and I'll show you how this is kind of cool. This is going to be a one-time amount, right? So he wants to add an additional one-time amount of, let's do $30 for some reason. And he doesn't want a tax receipt because he's going to give a lot over a period of time. Okay, I'm going to hit submit. And we're going to get here, and then we're going to go to our next page. And so what you're going to see is the add-on was able to actually detect, okay, yeah, that diamond package is actually $25 a week. It is a recurring subscription. And then he has a one-time donation of $30. You're going to see at the bottom, sometimes the checkout options change a little bit. So what we're telling PayPal here is we're saying, hey, this is going to be a subscription, not just a one-time payment, because part of this checkout is recurring. It could be the whole checkout is recurring if you didn't add that one time, but part of it in this case is going to recur every week. And when we click the PayPal button, so I'll kind of show you here what would happen. I'm going to log, so this is test mode, and so I think we have like Lucy customer, customer 123. And so what you'll see, and this will happen whether somebody pays by card, subscribes by card or subscribes by PayPal. If you click this little arrow up here, what you'll see is the subscription details. So they're going to spend $26 Canadian each week. And that, remember, is because we added a 4% surcharge. So that's why that price came up a little bit. That's still being applied even to a subscription. We're adding it on to the user. And then that is for the diamond package. And then we're doing a one-time setup fee. So that one-time setup fee is covering any one-time payments that will only happen once. So this is getting passed into PayPal as a one-time setup fee. So for a total today of $57.20, yes. But each week I'm going to be charged an extra $26. So really cool. You're able to actually set up a recurring subscription just by adding /week. And I'm going to hit continue, agree and subscribe, because I'm agreeing and subscribing at this point in time. And it's going to say thanks to Lucy. And she's going to come back. And what you're going to see is a subscription ID this time. And so she has an active subscription to donate $25 every week, and it will tell you the next billing date. And if Lucy comes back to this page at any point, she'll be able to see updated charges or updated donations right away. So really cool that it's that easy to go from doing one-time payments to actually doing subscriptions or recurring payments. When we go back to our spreadsheet, let's go to the spreadsheet again. And you can see Joe Smith was actually the original donor, even though we paid with Lucy's account, but Joe Smith was the donor. And you can see what is the difference in the status is he is subscribed and he paid with PayPal. Money's in your PayPal account. He paid via PayPal. And the payable transaction ID here is actually a subscription ID. And if you were to log into your PayPal account, if they ever said, hey, I want to cancel or I need to pause, you can log into your PayPal account and you'll see the subscription right there. And you can use this subscription ID to look it up and you can pause it or cancel it at any point in time. So we really just kind of set it all up for you, get it going, and it's that easy to do either one-time payments or recurring payments for fundraising. So I hope you found that helpful. I think it's a really valuable tool, the combination of Google Forms plus Payable, the Payable Forms add-on, to put the two together to create fundraising events, forms, donation forms, quick and easy. Almost anybody can do it. Looks professional. It's very secure, and it keeps you organized. So I hope that helps. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment in the chat or go to help.payableapps.com and you can chat with us there if you have any questions about how to get set up and running. Thanks again for watching these videos, and I hope that was helpful. Cheers.